All of a sudden you're the villain, and it's okay to be the villain. And I've mentioned that before. Sometimes you become the villain in other people's stories, and that's okay. That just means that you're not the villain in your own story, and you're setting boundaries and you're getting clear about those boundaries and not settling for less than what you deserve. So grateful you're here. Let's get started. Who here has heard the phrase, wow, you've changed, or I knew you'd be like that, when setting boundaries, when realizing that the people you surrounded yourself with are no longer serving you and are not on the same level where you're currently going? So, in my experience, I've made a lot of changes in my life. I have done a lot of the inner work. I have noticed things about myself as well as others, whether that be attachment to what I thought I needed in those moments and allowing other people to take parts of me, in a sense of where, in order not to have any confrontation or make somebody else feel a certain way about themselves, I took parts of myself away to meet their needs rather than meet my own needs. And when I started setting boundaries and when I started saying things like, no, that doesn't serve me, and no, I don't agree with that, and that's not my perspective on things, or that's not the way I saw it, or that's not the way it came off, then all of a sudden it's like, oh my God, you've changed. Why are you being like this? I thought we were friends and I thought you cared about me and I thought you wanted the best for me. And I can't believe that, all of a sudden you're the villain, and it's okay to be the villain, and I've mentioned that before. Sometimes you become the villain in other people's stories, and that's okay. That just means that you're not the villain in your own story, and you're setting boundaries and you're getting clear about those boundaries and not settling for less than what you deserve. So when somebody tells you, wow, you've changed, ask them, what exactly is it about me that's changed? And then, they'll either avoid answering the question or they will start saying things like, oh, I used to be able to depend on you and I used to be able to talk to you about things. And now I feel like I can't do those things. And then if that is the answer, then ask them, okay, well, when was the last time that I shared what was going on with me, with you? And then you'll probably get the response like, oh, well, you don't share things about your life with me anymore. And I invite you to ask the question next, which is, why do you think that is? And then that's when they'll be like, oh, so you haven't shared anything about your life. Why haven't you shared anything with me about what's going on with you? And the reason why you haven't shared and you stopped sharing is because every time you've shared something with them about what's going on with you, you were met with, let's be positive, enough with the negativity, or, oh, I can't do this right now. And don't do this to me. So you see how they circle it back around to what their needs are. But what about your needs? When was the last time your needs were met? When was the last time you felt supported and that you can share what's going on with you with somebody else? And how did you feel after you shared? Did you feel more drained? Did you feel like your energy was back? Or did you feel like you were still running on empty and that you wish you had never shared anything in the first place? And for me, I've had all those experiences where sometimes I would say, like, "Ah, man, why did I say that? I should have just kept it to myself because now all of a sudden this person knows this thing about me and they met it with judgment or criticism. So now I have to walk on eggshells around them, or here we go again. It's another competition of who has it worse." But when you wanted to share what you were going through, when you wanted to have that conversation, you weren't looking at it as like, oh, I want to compete with this person who's living a worse life, or who's, dealing with more health issues, or who's currently having more financial troubles or relationship troubles or whatever it is. If you feel like somebody in your life, when you have a conversation with them, is competing to top whatever you're going through, then it's time to rearrange your seating chart and figure out if those are the people that you still want sitting at your table. Because the moment you remove people from your life that are no longer serving you, you make room for people that will support you, that will not judge you, that will love you and be there for you, where you'll feel like they're filling up your cup rather than poking holes in it. And you'll see the difference in that. But before you can do all of that, it starts within. It starts with who you are, what you want. And once you start to realize what it is that you want, once you start to realize what is not working for you, and you look within and you work within and you take action within, then you're going to see that shift on the outside. And you're going to start to hear things like, wow, you've changed. You're not the same person I thought you were. And I don't like this version of you. But it doesn't matter whether or not they like this version of you. Do you like this version of you? Can you look in the mirror and say, I did the best that I could today to be the best person, the best version of myself that I know I can be? And if the answer is yes, then who cares what anybody else says? Because the only person that's sitting with those opinions and those perspectives at the end of the day is you. And if somebody else's opinion of you is what gets you through every single day, then that's something to sit with and ask yourself, why does that person's opinion of me matter so much? What am I attached to in that person that makes me feel like I need their validation? Because at the end of the day, it's about you. It's not about them. And you are who you surround yourself with. So you get to make the choice and you get to decide, who do you want to surround yourself with? And then also, do you like the person looking back at you in the mirror based on the choices that you've been making up until now? Do you make a choice or say something or do something, and then you're like, why did I say that? Why did I do that? That didn't feel like something I would say or do. And that doesn't make me feel good. So why do you continue to do it? At the end of the day, you are what you create. And notice how I keep saying you are, you, because it's all about you and what you want out of your life. Forget everybody else's ideology, forget everybody else's perspective of who you should be and what you should be. Is that in alignment with who you are? Because we are all unique in our own way. Yes, we might have similarities and differences and grew up in the same environment or different environments, but at the end of the day, how we react, what we do, and what lessons we take from those experiences are what makes us so unique. So, what is it about you that you love so much? What is it about you that is scared to set those boundaries? And what is it about you that keeps you attached to people and things that you know don't belong in your world? Sit with that and ask yourself these questions. And the next time somebody tells you, wow, you've changed, say thanks. And then when they say, I miss the old you, say, what is it exactly about the old me that you miss? And then just watch their reaction, the way they just either shut down because they can't believe you just asked that question rather than saying like, "Oh my god, have I really changed? Oh, I'm so sorry. Oh, how do you think I can make this right?" But when you challenge them with, "What is it about me exactly that you've missed? The old me?" And then they'll just be like, "Oh, um," and then you'll realize that what they missed about the old you was the lack of boundaries you set, how many times you've gone above and beyond for them, how you were the one that would pick up within the first ring when they called, and you were always there for them and you always met their needs. But in exchange, I haven't met yours. And now that you're meeting your own needs, you're no longer settling for less than what you deserve. And that scares them because they formed an attachment to that version of you that was easy to manipulate, that was easy to, if they had no other plans or they didn't have better plans, they can just reach out to you and be like, hey. And you're like, oh, yeah, I'll be there in 5 minutes. No problem. So sit with all of this and ask yourself, where is this happening in your life? And what can you do to change that? And the first thing is to honor who you are and what you want out of your own life. And the more you do that and the more you show up for yourself, the more changes you're going to see in your life. So that's all for this week. I've given you a lot to think about, and I would love to hear, your experiences, your stories, anything you'd like to share with me. Please comment. I would love to read all of them. And I hope you have a wonderful week. Thank you for tuning in to the Ranya Show. Bye.